Welcome back to Destiny and Design. I am Christy, and this is my co-host, Sharon.
Hello.
So if you don't know me, I live in Southern California now, recently married and doing these MoonCasts with Sharon every 2 weeks. And my story is I left an abusive relationship in Canada in 2023. I ran off to Costa Rica for a human design retreat, which is what me and Sharon bond over, and ended up canceling my flight home. I felt safer there. And then 6 months later, I met the man of my dreams, and I'm now with him in Southern California, married to him. Human design was a huge part of that journey, as well as destiny cards, which we will talk a little bit about today. My story does sound intense to some people, but the most intense thing I think is that everything was actually predicted, which is what led me to further investigate this system.
My story is very different. I spent about almost 30 years in high tech as an IT business analyst, project manager, and I got tired of getting laid off all the time. And I decided to start my business in human design. And it showed me how I really wasn't meant to be in a job like that anyway. And then once I discovered Destiny cards through Christy, it really transformed everything for me there as well, because now I get to see what's coming at me in the future so that I know how my design will be ready to handle it. And we'll go more into that when we talk a little bit about what's been going on
Yes.
with my move recently.
Yes. So first, before that, we will tell you the whole purpose of today's call. So you might know it's the Lionsgate portal. It's also the full moon tomorrow. So actually, a dear friend who might be hopping on the call had told me that the month of August is called Ghost. The thinnest part of the veil is over us now. So people think there's ghosts or demons, and the veil is very thin right now. Whether you believe that or not, the Lionsgate portal is an astrological happening where the brightest star in the sky, Sirius, and the sun, and there's like a couple other things that all align. And it's known as a really important day for manifestation. My story with that, while I was in Costa Rica, and I don't tell this story as often, but as promised last time, what happened was I got to Costa Rica in July, canceled my flight home, and found a room at a hostel. And then I was like, okay, I'd like to stay here. I've got limited savings. How can I support myself here? So there was a couple places I looked into. I met some contacts. I was looking for work, and I wasn't finding anything. There was 3 weeks of which I was waking up anxious, falling asleep, crying. Everyone's like, oh, Christy's in Costa Rica living it up. And I'm like, this is not easy. What am I going to do? So it's the Lionsgate portal. It was August 8th, 2023. I go down to the pool bar with my notebook, and I'm just going to write down exactly what I'm looking for. I know it's a day for manifestation. So I write a full page of exactly the kind of job I want, something near the ocean, maybe a pool bar. I had even looked into this very hostile pool bar where I was now sitting down to write. I write a full page of things I'm manifesting, and I put the pen down. And I kid you not, within 60 seconds, the manager walks over and is like, hey, did you still want a job here? I just had someone walk out. And I was like, are you kidding me? So for me, I do not play on Lions Portal anymore. Further to that, later in the year, I think it was around October, but I was like, that works so well. I know it's not the Lionsgate portal anymore, but I'm going to do the same thing and looking for the man of my dreams. So again, I wrote a full page. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's what I'm not tolerating. I was very serious about wanting to find love and someone to settle down with. And it wasn't as instant, but it was December 28th, which is a significant date in my life spread, that I did actually meet my husband, and he's everything and more on that list. So what I see as the commonalities is what works for me anyway. Make a list. I believe it's actually more about clarity. If you're clear and you're saying, here's the order, and then just having that gratefulness that it's on its way to you.
So I am definitely doing the Lionsgate journaling this time around because I'm right in a transition. It's perfect timing and not perfect timing. So me as a manifesting generator with all four motor centers defined, and if you don't know what that is, just follow along, stay tuned. Basically, it means I'm an Energizer bunny. And I decided with about 3 weeks notice that I was going to move out of my apartment that I was in Vancouver, Washington, and move back to Utah, the Salt Lake City area. And I kept having this feeling that I shouldn't be doing it so fast. needing to get out of the apartment before my lease was up, yes, because I knew that was the right move. But then I didn't feel like I wanted to, or like my body was called to move to Utah that quickly. But I turned that around in 2 weeks after I got out of my apartment. 2 weeks later, I was moving to Utah. And what I didn't realize at the time is that in Destiny Card's system, there's the different periods. And as we talk more about this, you'll learn more about it if you don't understand that part. But there's the different periods of your life, and there's the different periods of your year, your current birth year. Well, Robert, who designed the system, says that you're not supposed to move during the Saturn period because it can be very difficult. And I didn't know what that meant. I thought it was like, the U-Haul's going to roll off the road or cause an accident or something. But what it meant for me is I'm actually in the Saturn period of my life, and I'm also in the Saturn period of my year. So I called Christy in a panic. Should I change my date? I don't know what to do. And what I realized is what was difficult for me was physically, my body was not cooperating with me as it normally does. So I had to extend my move up by a couple days. And it was just emotionally taxing as well. So I had all this going on, but based on my design, I have a defined ego will center, which literally means I have the willpower to do anything that I set my mind to, even to my physical detriment, which is what was happening. So I pushed through from my will center and got on the road with my wonderful friend Ruby Ann, and she's driving her car with my U-Haul on the back of it. And this is the part that we really wanted to talk about today is the effect of the emotional waves, the emotional solar plexus from human design. If you have that defined, meaning it's colored in on your chart, then you are somebody who has these emotional waves that since birth, you've learned to ride them. And it probably doesn't even feel anymore like you are having a high or a low of the emotional waves because you're so used to the ups and the downs. It's just all a part of how life is. So I'm out there on the road, and it's taking us longer than expected because we have the trailer and there's all the hills, and it's about a 14.5 hour drive now for us. We're in the last 2 legs of the trip. So we're on this last stop, and all of these emotions were starting to hit me from things that had happened, conversations with friends of mine before I was leaving, the whole move, the decision being so quickly made. And I was feeling all of this, but I'm focused on completing the trip because my defined ego will center is like, we just need to get there. And my poor friend, Ruby Ann, she's never driven a trailer before, pulled a trailer, and I'm worried about her. I'm constantly checking the side view mirror to see what's going on. So my mind is completely on the task at hand and getting it completed well, because that's what the defined ego will center needs to do. It needs to get it right. So I'm focused on that. We get to the second to last stop, and Ruby Ann's standing next to me, and she says, "How are you doing?" And I'm thinking, the trip. I'm like, I'm fine. Still have plenty of energy. Let's go. Let's make this last stop. How are you? And she's like, okay, just checking in. Didn't know what she meant. I get back in the car and suddenly I start crying. And what I found out later when we got to the next stop, she asked me again, so how are you really doing? I'm like, I'm a little tired. Maybe we should get on the phone this time and talk for the last leg of the trip. So we get on the phone and suddenly I'm spilling all of this stuff that I'm feeling. And her response to me was, I knew it, because she has an undefined emotional center, which means I'm like the speedboat out in the water where I'm just going along, having a great time. And I might not be anywhere near these poor little innocent paddleboarders that are out there just floating along, paddling along, having a good time in the sun. I might not be near them with my boat, but I leave a wake behind me. My emotional waves are literally like a wake behind a boat. and they're going to come in and knock those poor paddleboarders off if I'm not releasing that energy appropriately for my design, and I'm trying to hold it in, and my defined ego will center will allow me to hold it in, but then everybody else around me is impacted. So Ruby Ann tells me that when we were standing there the first time when I wasn't letting it out, she literally felt a physical, emotional wave go through her entire body. So she had to check in with herself to say, hey, is this me? Is this about what I was just talking about? She's like, no, doesn't feel like it's me. Let me check in with Sharon. But of course, I was avoiding that and trying to stuff it down. But it was just such a great indication of the impact of our design on other people around us. Even when we think we're controlling it, we're managing it, we really aren't. So I hope that maybe gives some light to some of you. If you know your design and you know that you're emotionally defined and you have somebody in your family unit that you live with every day, that they might be impacted by that. And if you don't let it out, Ruby Ann is skilled enough to and trained enough to understand that it wasn't her energy. But otherwise, she could have ended up amplifying and reflecting back that emotional energy that I was stuffing down. And then it could have come out at me. It could have come out at somebody else. It could have just had her be an emotional wreck for no reason related to her.
Thanks, Sharon. We love to talk about emotions with the moon. We're 78% water, and the moon controls the tides. Even though today's the Lionsgate portal, we always have a bit of an emotional theme too. Feel free to, if you do know your chart, if you want us to look up your chart, it's really fascinating. I'll give an example too. I may have spoken on this before, but I'm a non-emotional. So I'm one of those poor paddleboarders out in the water. I'm good as long as the water's fine. When I'm by myself, there's no ups and downs. I might get a little pissed off for a second, and then I'm like, anyways. But my husband is an emotional, so he's the speedboat. So he'll come home from work. I'm totally fine, flat, paddling away. And he's the wake. I can tell his emotions drop, or he's tired or cranky. And suddenly I'm like, are you mad at me? What is happening? And I'm even sometimes feeling like nauseous. He's a very emotionally defined manifester, but we'll get more into that. So if you have a question, we'd love to look up your charts. If you would like to share about maybe whether you see yourself on one side or the other, if you're someone who has had that experience where you're like, this is not my energy, what is wrong? Why do I feel this way? Or if you're someone who people seem to be affected by, like the speedboat, we'd love to hear about all that. A quick introduction to the systems we use. So if you know us, you know how much we love human design and destiny cards. Human design is a newer system blending the Kabbalah, the Chinese I Ching, quantum physics, astrology, the Hindu Brahmin chakra system, and it gives you a blueprint of how your energy works since the moment of your birth. And that doesn't change, but it does get impacted by transits and other people in your life. And it can explain a lot and take out a lot of anger, frustration, bitterness, and awareness really is the key. Like Sharon's saying, we're getting impacted, but Ruby Ann so beautifully demonstrated, if we can be aware of what's going on, it doesn't actually impact the relationships. It actually facilitates more intimacy. And then with destiny cards, which Sharon and I both love as well, it's an ancient system. So even though the gentleman that put it together for our modern use, his name is Robert, he wrote these books that we use, but it is a pre-Egyptian, pre-tarot system. It's based on a deck of cards. Actually, the 52 card deck was originally a calendar system for farmers, and it's like a weather forecast. They say it's best to plant seeds on a new moon and harvest on a full moon. There's a lot of ties to our Gregorian calendar. It's based on astrology and numerology, and it shows your whole life spread. So for example, Sharon and I are both 9 of clubs. We have the same life spread. Here's what it looks like. And each of you have one of those as well. So if you have questions about what energy is on top of you right now, if you're trying to make decisions or you want any clarity, happy to answer those questions as well. So let's open it up for sharing and questions. Torrance, thanks for being here today, Torrance.
Yes. Hello, hello. Thank you so
Hi.
much for having me. Thank you for sharing your beautiful stories, ladies.
Oh,
Much appreciated. Very well explained. And I'm grateful to be here.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. I'm currently, so me and my partner have been together for 13 years. Our 9-year anniversary of marriage is coming up. on the 26th. We've been having some challenges. It's been, I guess it's like it's a transformational stage in our life. Yeah, you can get help in this regard, and we greatly appreciate it for you having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing and being with us again. Would you tell me your wife's birthday?
Yes, it is April 4th, 1991.
Got it. Okay. Sharon, is there anything you wanted to say about the charts while I look up the cards?
Yes. So I've worked with Torrance before, so I've looked at his human design chart. And Torrance is one of the minuscule types of human design beings out there. He is known as a reflector. And that's because each of these energy centers, he has none of them defined.
Yeah.
So that is incredibly unique. It's about 2% of the population, world population, is a reflector. And what that means is he is taking in and sampling energy from everybody around him at all times of his life. And so I was wondering, because usually we're attracted, especially in the emotional solar plexus that we were talking about, we're attracted to somebody who has that defined. But then I ran his wife's chart, and this is her chart, and she also is undefined in that area. So what that means is, to me, from a human design standpoint, any type of turbulence that you might experience in your relationship, Torrance, is probably not even related to either of you. That when you're out and about in society, and I know you're at home with your new baby and your wife is out at the office on days, but you go out to the store, or you go anywhere with the child and you're interacting with people, you're taking in all of their emotional energy. And then that's going to stay with you for about 2 hours, even after you leave that person. So then your wife could be at work and come home and have all of this pent up energy. Like maybe there's somebody at work, like me, that's moving and trying to stuff down all of the emotions around that. But there's so much tension. Your wife brings that home, amplifies it, and reflects it back at you. And the same could happen with you, because your daughter does have an emotional definition. So she's having a cranky day, as 4-year-olds will do. You might be taking that in and then reflecting that back at your wife. So that's one of the significant things that I see for the two of you. The other thing that is really cool is your wife has gate 61, and we've talked about this on previous sessions, where 61 is the gate of mystery. And for people with gate 61, especially if they have an undefined head center that it's coming out of, they will be the type that will feel like they can never figure something out. Like they take on something new and they think, I'm never going to figure this all out. I should probably change directions. This isn't going to work for me. But then it's like a light switch. When gate 61 actually figures it out, it's not a gradual ramp up of learning something. It's I don't know anything about this block of information. And then suddenly one morning they wake up and they know everything about it and they can teach somebody else. So the great thing about the two of you is you have a connector, you have the other side of that channel. So around each other, you actually get to experience, she gets to experience coming to that light switch getting turned on much quicker, as if she has the other side of the channel herself through that electromagnetic connection. So that's a really great thing, because that gate 61 can really stumble people at times. So Christy, did you find?
Yes,
Yeah,
I've
okay,
investigated. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Okay, so first of all, Torrance, you're a 5 of diamonds, Jack of diamonds, and your wife is a 7 of diamonds and a 9 of clubs, like us. So as a 7 and a 9, those are the two most spiritual numbers in the deck. They're the giving numbers. We have interesting spiritual level things to learn in this life. And what better for a spiritual generator than to be with a reflector? And that is reflected in your karma too. So when I look at all of your cards and their relationships with each other, First of all, I love to see there's so much Venus. There's so much love there. You guys make beautiful babies. You guys smell good to each other. Love to see that. And in about 5 or 6 places, you are not only in this life, but in past lives together, or that's the spiritual energy behind it. You are her cosmic reward. So there's something that she is here in this life to learn spiritually. And the fact that she's attracted you into her life is already like she's doing work. This is good. That doesn't put you in an easy spot, though. And not only that, you are not only her moon card. So it can feel like whether you feel that you revolve around her or she feels that you revolve around her, it can be this weird power dynamic. You're also her Saturn. So that is balanced with the fact that on some level or another, you are like a father figure to her where you're a teacher of sorts, and it's not pleasant for her. So there are things that you're here to be teaching and bestowing in this life on the mundane plane, as even because you guys are both diamonds, that can look like financial stuff. That's like, we need to do it this way. And she's like, I don't get it. Why would we do it this way? That's how it could, I don't know anything about your situation, but that's how it could look, for example. What else did I see here?
Man, you're hitting some spots for me right now.
And as a reflector, we've talked about this before. Theoretically, in a utopian world, you would be the judges, like you would be the justice, because you see groups of people and you're like, this is what's fair. This is how this should go. Generators are here to build and to use their energy. So you guys don't even really speak the same language in a sense. She can't imagine what it's like to be you. And in the same way, you can't imagine what it's like to be her. But I would say that you have the aura that is reading groups and people, and she is at her best reading herself. The best thing for a generator, as Sharon could attest, is your question is know thyself as a generator. As a reflector, your question is, who are they? Who am I surrounded by in this life? And how should this be going? It's so funny. I was like, she's a 9 of clubs too. She's like me and Sharon to be giving away this knowledge. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's a similar kind of person to us in that way. And as a 7 of diamonds, my best friend is a 7 of diamonds. And 7 means challenge. I like to say it's like a video game, whereas 9 is more of like a letting go, a releasing. 7 is like, here's a challenge and we'll see how you do with it. And because her challenge is in diamonds, it's also called the millionaire's card. It can look like a life where your poverty mindset or abundance mindset is thrown in front of your face so many times. A lot of 7 of diamonds actually can either be in like extreme debt and then overcome it or win the lottery or something. And then it's up to them to build that baseline so that they can hold that. And with the diamond card, this is going to be largely about finances or about just values, personal values, family values, whatever it is that's important to her.
I also noticed when Christy was talking about all of the past life connections, you are both the incarnation cross in human design. You're both left angle crosses. So you, Taurans, are the left angle cross of the plane, and your wife is the left angle cross of endeavor. And we don't really need to go into the definition of what those mean, but the one thing is when somebody is a left angle cross, every significant relationship or interaction that they have in their life, even like a coworker at the office that they interact with a lot, they are here as a left angle cross to clean up karma from a past life with that person, with everybody that's in their life. So the two of you, with all of your past lives together, from the human design standpoint, you are both here to clean up some bit of karma with each other. So as Christy was saying, your wife is definitely on the path of learning and growing and up leveling in this life. And there's probably something in that she can do differently this time to clean up what didn't quite work as well as it should have in the past life.
Also, looking into this year, I know we've talked about your cards in the past, so I thought I'd look up your wife's cards for this year. She's 34. She has her whole annual theme is an ace of spades. So she's going under this rupturing transformation this year. And actually, her challenge for the year is the 9 of clubs. So that can mean, because it's her card, she is her own challenge this year. Or it can mean, because the meaning of 9 of clubs is letting go of a way of thinking or processing or making decisions that isn't working for her anymore. So this is a big year, and her result is the motherhood or the wife card. It's the Queen of Hearts. So whatever she's letting go of this year is going to result in a next level transformation and what it means to her to be a mother and a wife. That is how I would keynote the one spread that she has this year. Oh my gosh, yeah. And her other spread, she's got a 9 of spades she's letting go of. Her theme is the 3 of diamonds. So that can be uncertainty or feeling pulled like a fork in the road about what she values or about her values or about money. It can be making money from 2 sources. But her other challenge is another 9 of spades. So that can be like letting go of a health, work, or lifestyle habit that's no longer serving her. That's her challenge this year. And then what she ends up with is the King of Diamonds. So that can be you because you're a diamond man. So maybe this brings you guys closer together, whatever it is she's letting go of that isn't serving her anymore. And it leads her also to mastery about her own values. Those are the 2 ways that I would read this.
Yeah. And in that, while she's experiencing all of that, letting go, I'm noticing the heavy definition in her throat center in human design, where if she is taking in negative or stressful energy from people around her when she's outside of the home through her undefined solar plexus, there's going to be a lot of power behind that all coming out of her mouth, literally, when she's with you. And she also has the gate 11, which is the storyteller gate, where she will be instinctually tempted to share stories about anything and everything. Like my coworker's brother's second cousin, when he was married 20 years ago, did blah, blah, blah. That's the storyteller gate, that kind of the heir to that. But she does have that balanced out going to the throat, unless you have that emotional energy that's not hers, ramping her up and needing to spit that out. So a suggestion for me is that when she gets home from work, it would probably be best. She probably wants to think, okay, I've been away from the day. Torrance has been managing the house and our child. I should jump in immediately and take over. It's probably best if she takes an hour by herself when she gets home, or maybe take the long way home and stop for a coffee or something, so that she can release all that energy from other people and then be able to be present truly as herself with you and your daughter.
And the last thing I'll say too, I'm just looking at, so her year, I'm looking for your cards. And what this means is, for example, when my husband's cards are in my Uranus, Uranus is all about the unexpected or surprising. It's like I'm constantly face palming because I'm like, what is he doing now? When we find someone's cards in our spread, it represents, depending where we find them, it's how they can show up for us in the year. So where I see in your wife's spread, where you show up twice, you show up in her Jupiter. So you are a source of financial and spiritual expansion for her this year, but you're also in her Saturn. So this is the year where, and this makes sense with the Ace of Spades theme, because you're teaching her things this year. You're a sense of like restriction or burden, because that's how Saturn feels. Not only are you that to her all the time, but specifically this year, but you are helping her grow and expand if she will let go of whatever it is and allow that. But then also in your spread, she shows up as your Mars. So she turns you on, she ticks you off all at the same time. There can be a lot of arguments because she's your Mars. She just drives you to compete, and there's arguments. So it's just enhanced this year. And I'm sorry, that does sound tricky. You haven't even said that's what's going on, but I'm like, from the card, that's what it sounds like. That's normal. It will pass. Just having maybe some awareness about that, like Sharon said, protecting your energy, hers, and having your time could help a lot, I would say.
I'm a loss of words right now. Sometimes it's thank you. Thank you. Yes. So I'm looking right now, so I can go into details. And I'm very grateful for all this.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Torrance. Thanks for your generous sharing. I love this stuff so much. So they say with 8/8, August 8th, between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. is high time for manifestation. So even if you don't want to share on the call, we'd love for you to share, but take some time today to write a list, get clear, or go for a walk or meditate and have that in your mind. This is the day, I'm telling you guys, powerful things can happen.
I know.
Can I say something?
Cecily.
Yeah, Cecily. Yeah, great.
I know I'm a manifester, but
Ooh.
I guess my question as I'm just listening to everything is, what are my blocks to manifestation? I feel like I know some, but I'm like, I know I have heavy blocks, so I need to discover those.
Is there something specific that you notice a blockage in manifesting, like an area of life?
Everything. But I also know that my body is going through a huge transformation, like healing journey. It's been releasing energy for 4.5 years and very intensely the last 1.5 years. And I know it's like negative emotions, and I was healing ancestors and stuff through it all. So I wondered if all that negative energy and old stored stuff that I've been releasing for me and others is blocking my own power to manifest, because it's really actually hard as I try to fill my body with things I want and the goodness. It's hard when all this stuff's coming through my body. So I thought that was a big block. All that energy coming through me that's not positive, that makes like blocks for me to really feel and be present in what I want and need. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It sounds like
I don't know.
resistance, and it sounds like anger, which is the keynotes of the manifester.
So June 14th.
Cool. And what's your current age, Cecily, if you don't mind?
44, just turned 44.
You're in your Venus. Sharon, did you want to say a couple of things about the design before while I look at the cards?
Yeah. So Cecily, you're going to be one of those people that has that emotional, you're the speedboat. So like I am. And
I recognize that when you were talking.
yeah. And especially since your speedboat is directly connected through the channel to your throat. So there could be a lot of, if you're on an emotional wave, a high or a low, there could be a lot of that energy coming out through your throat and through your mouth. And you also have, as I was telling Torrance, the storyteller gate. So you might be tempted to share a lot of that information. And one of the plates of the manifester, or anybody with a manifester channel, is that because we deal with the anger that's underlying that, but we've learned that anger is bad in society, then we try to manage it or stuff it down. But you might find that whatever you say when you're on an emotional high or low will come out to other people sounding annoyed or angry, or they might shrink away from whatever you're saying to them. Does that happen at all?
I'm really connected to like truth. And so, yeah, I think people misrepresent me a lot when I'm just speaking truth, and I don't have to have it, and I'm bold and I'm strong. So even if I'm speaking it in a calm way, I know that affects people not well.
Exactly. And we have Thomas on the call. He's also a manifestor. I see him shaking his head. He can relate to that. I know.
Very much.
You're like,
I just don't understand.
Or I speak to people. I'm so calm too that people don't take me seriously. Like people don't take my feelings seriously because I'm not so overly emotional. Like people, if I cry, they're like, oh, but if I'm not crying, it's, oh, let's just disregard that because I'm not. I'm just clear and very in touch with my emotions. So I don't have to express them all to teach people lessons. I just speak. If that makes sense.
Yes. And a manifestor, that is what a manifestor is here to do. You're here to inform. You're not here to have stories around what you're informing. You're just informing. There's information that you have, you provide it.
Yep.
I informed my boss and lost my job.
Congratulations.
Good job being a manifestor. All right.
Wow.
Christy, do you
That's
see
a fun
anything
job.
Yeah. First of all, I wanted to say her emotional center is completely subconsciously defined. So you might, Cecily, feel like you're actually a paddleboarder and get surprised by your own emotions because it's your body feels them, but your head is like, what? And what you said sounds like me, where it's like, oh, I'm fine. You know, where your mind is not necessarily connected. It is connected, but you don't have as much of the conscious awareness that someone might have with a black line connected to the emotional center, because you only have red. So your body feels it.
Is that why I will like be? But I'll just realize, wait a minute, okay, there's a problem here, and it takes a long time for me to get there.
You'll notice it through your body sensations.
Yeah, then my body will all of a sudden tell me, this has been a problem. You've dealt with it calmly, but it was a problem the whole time. You just handled it well, but you have to realize it wasn't good for you the whole time.
Yep. And you have a first line personality like me and Sharon. So you're going to be extremely self-aware and extremely introspective. Actually, Sharon, her and I have the same gates. I'm a 636, 12, 11, and she's swapped. So we're probably very similar people.
Yes. And she and I are both 1-4
Yeah.
profile, which is why we connected right away.
Yep. And with the open head and ajna and the top right variables, you're super absorbent to other people's thoughts and other people's ways of understanding things. You don't even know how much you know until someone asks you, especially with the first line. Fascinating. What I'm seeing in the cards here. So first of all, I'm curious about your relationship status. You don't have to share, but if you would like to, because I'm noticing a lot of parts.
I've been divorced for a while and I'm single.
Got
with
it.
all this energy stuff. Do you know much about twin flames and soul relationships?
I've heard, and if you want, we could look at the karma here in the book, but I can tell
That's
you.
what started my whole healing journey, was connecting with that twin flame, and it was pure insanity. And after that is when the deep healing started. This energy started coming out of my body, like all the healing, that's what the journey is. I didn't know it at the time. I had to learn it through it, but everything that it was like 100% my life. It was been awful, but I know it'll be great when it's all healed. And
yes. And it's always a journey, right? So
I haven't been since then. That was quite intense. But I barely could leave my house the last year and a half when my body was releasing and in chaos, to be honest. I'm in a better place now. So I'm single. I have 5 daughters. But I know my divine masculine is there and close. Like, I feel all that. I know what that all looks like, but I don't know. I have to finish this healing journey, and obviously he's on his own journey for us to connect, or what it would take for me to manifest. I don't know.
That makes me think of a quote that a beautiful relationship is not two healed people. It's two unhealed people healing together. And it's beautiful. And I ask because I was going to say, I don't know if you're open to dating, but it looks like this is the year for you where it's possible you could meet this person that you're able to be with in a healthy way.
But I'm very picky. My soul tells me right away, yes or no. Like, I need a soul. It has to be a soul connection.
Definitely. Definitely. So your theme this year, one of them is the 7 of Hearts. As we know, 7 is a challenge, and usually 7 of Hearts means letting go of expectations in relationship, letting people be exactly who they are. It's like a journey towards self-acceptance. So that's a theme for you. It could be the thing that's on your mind. You could meet someone who is a 7 of Hearts. My lovely husband is a 7 of Hearts, and he has a very similar chart to yours, which is funny. And one of your challenges is a 9 of Spades too. So you also are letting go of something, whether it's a lifestyle, whether it's work or health habit. This could be the healing stuff. And you have a very beautiful card on the other side. Your reward this year is a 10 of Spades. So to me, that's like success, recognition, like something that you're letting go of, like closing up the box and mailing it away. It ends up going very well. And it's to do with emotions and relationships. And then in your other spread, it's a 2 of Diamonds. So this is like theoretically a business deal, but this could be a coming together, merging of finances. That's also a 2 of Diamonds thing. You're protected by peace and balance in emotions and relationships. You've got the 6 of Hearts in a very beautiful position. So it's like the peacemaker, and you're a manifestor. So peace is very important to you. You have a 9 of Hearts and an Ace of Hearts in Jupiter. So that looks like either a payout from a divorce, because 9 of Hearts is a divorce card and Jupiter is how you expand materially. But you have an Ace of Hearts too, which can be self-love, or it can be a new love. That can be someone new coming into your life. I actually got married with a 9 of Hearts in Venus, which is divorce. But because I was single, 9 also means fulfillment and the ending of a cycle. So for me, it was the end of my single journey and my search. What's that?
I said this cycle might be ending, like this energy release hopefully will end too.
It looks like it, yeah. And it's definitely emotionally based. And also in the Jupiter, you have a 5 of Spades. So you could be moving or changing jobs. And you have the Queen of Hearts. So I do read that toward a very beneficial marriage for you if you wanted that, or at least this partnership begins where you are fulfilling yourself as the divine feminine and it is a financially beneficent relationship for you.
Also, Cecily is starting up her business again.
I manifested when I first started training, I got like 20 clients in 1 month and my boss was like, you brought this in. This is the slowest time of the month. I usually we're going out of business, and you just somehow got 20 clients in July. So I know that it's possible for me, but I don't see that happening right now or sense it, but I know there's a reason, and I totally trust the purpose. So that's where I'm like, what are my blocks to manifesting? It's just not the time, or or when you were talking about getting clear, I'm like, do I need to write down? Because I do know the type of clients I want. So maybe I need to really write down and get clear on exactly what I want.
Yes. Do it today. Today is the day to do it before 8 p.m. Absolutely.
Over the next 3 days, today and through Sunday, with the full moon as well, this energy is going to continue. So get it written down today, get it clear, and then also listening to the frequency. What is it? 483, I believe, is the megahertz, is the manifestation frequency. So finding some things where you can just listen to that while you're writing it, reread it multiple times over the weekend, every day, have that frequency playing. And that is supposed to, like, very quickly manifest everything that you've written down in this portal.
Awesome. I had listened to stuff this morning as I was trying to meditate and fill myself with what I wanted.
Yeah. So correction, it's 432 megahertz.
So I would also say, along with writing, I found this very helpful for myself. So along with writing down the kinds of clients that you want, the kind of person you're looking to meet, also write down, because your challenge this year is letting go, and you have the 7, which is unleashing expectations and allowing yourself and people to be exactly who they are. Also write down your boundaries. For me, I'm not okay with name calling, or for clients, I'm not okay with giving discounts or late payments, like whatever it could be, or needy codependent clients. Write down what you're like, I'm going to say no, even if 30 of them flooded my inbox right now, but I could tell that they were going to drain me. Have that too. I see that in your chart this year. And the full moon is the time for harvest. The new moon is the time to plant seeds and manifest on a monthly basis. But today being the Lion's Portal and also the full moon, release. You could do a list of the things that you're releasing emotionally too. That would be something really beautiful to do today.
Okay. Yeah. And also writing down the vision of who you see yourself being. Like when everything is working exactly as you dream it to be, who are you? How are you being? How do you look? How do you walk? How do you act? Everything.
Which I'm going to think about that, envisioning it, but I don't write it down. Yeah. I need to.
Writing is important. And also, just a couple of words and acknowledgement of you. You're a freaking manifester, girl. Like, you are 9% of the population. You are a fire starter. You're not there to stoke the flames. You're there to throw a spark, and everybody else jumps in to keep it going. You go run off into the field and start another fire over there. Like, you are here to impact people. And you're also, because of your personality, your gates, you are a cross of Eden. So you are all about getting kicked out of Eden and going to create and find a slice of heaven that you can then share with everyone. So this is all happening because you're getting kicked out of the cozy womb. Like, you had to get kicked out of that. Just like I had to get kicked out of my abusive relationship, even though I was hanging on for dear life. And now I have the most beautiful marriage. And I get to have this opportunity with all of you and with Sharon to be giving back in this way. This is also your birthright, except you're a freaking manifester. So like, you are, in past times, you were a pharaoh, you were a king. And in this life, you're just like, man, that was the good old days. Like, where am I right now? This doesn't feel like home. So I hope that helps.
No, it does. That's the story of my life. Things just burn and crumble, rebuild, burn and crumble. It's just been like nonstop for the last 5 years. So I'm just ready for the rainbow. Like,
yes.
And I have a year of plenty and peace after the last 5 years of nightmare.
Yeah.
But I do crumbled and what's had to be released. I understand it spiritually, but it's hard.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Christy, when do you see it turning around for her?
I was just peeping at that. I'm like, we gotta shed some light.
So
Cecily, I definitely want to have you check back in with me to let me know if this comes to pass.
Join us in the next couple months and let us know. I'd love to hear too.
Yeah.
Okay, so next year at 45, you have a 9 of spades. So that is like a graduation year. There can be a lot of things that you have to let go of, and your challenge and reward is 2 kings. So like next year, you're going to be there's something very powerful that launches you into your power. Yeah. Oh my God. You got aces all over the place. You could move, you could travel a lot too. And then you also in your other spread have a 2 of hearts. So it looks like you're going to be learning and letting go of some things through a partnership or through dating or like a love affair or something. And then 47 and 48, you've got really powerful years. Let's see. You're just in a weird cycle. The last 4 years have been hard.
yeah, the years before were hard too, but the last 4 have been a nightmare.
Yeah, you've had some really weird displacement cards like anxiety, money stuff, having to pay people out for, you're like, what is going on? But it looks like things get better, especially starting at even 46 looks really successful, peaceful.
Fun.
You're going to get there, but you have to go through this first. That's the thing. So it's going to be fun.
Going through it.
Yeah.
It's
So-
all good.
So the thing I love about Destiny cards is before I knew about this, I would have you probably have been, Cecily, sitting there thinking, when is this ever going to end? But you can look at the cards and go, yes, this is what the past has been. It shows it in my cards.
Yeah.
That's what I'm designed to go through in this life for a purpose. And then you see where the light at the end of the tunnel comes. So you can enlist your
I've known
mental
it's
power
there.
to just trudge through.
I try. It's just hard when I'm such a hopeful, positive. Every day I just expect miracles and good thing. I'm like, today's gonna be a better day, and it's just like I get hit and beat down. I'm like, okay, and I come out. I'm really resilient, but it's I feel that rainbow so strongly.
It's
all the
coming.
time.
Thank you so much, Cecily. I appreciate your generous sharing and allowing us to contribute to you. I think we have time for one more question.
I have a question.
Hi, CJ.
Hi. So super quick, I know you guys might be almost done, but I really want to know if you guys have advice on connecting to divine feminine. I always want to, and I look up videos like how to, but I feel like I always stray from it. I'm like super busy, but it's like not an excuse. I really want to, and that's where I want to head. So if you guys have advice on that.
Yeah, CJ, do you know what time you were born?
Dude, I think it was 9:48 p.m. I remember that.
9:48. And what's your birthday?
September 28th, 2002.
Sharon's going to pull that up. And while Sharon's doing that, I will just say you are one of the most divine feminine women I've ever met. So I don't know what you're talking about. We had a Greek toga party, a dinner party the other week, and she literally showed up as a Greek goddess. And I'm like, that makes sense. So first of all, you're Delulu. Secondly, let's look into this.
I'm sorry, would you repeat the date of birth?
September 28th, 2002. Oh, and what city were you born, CJ?
Lancaster, California.
Cool. Oh, you're a 9 of hearts. God bless. And a 5 of diamonds. Okay. Like we said earlier in the call, I can't remember if you were on the call yet, but 9s are a giver. It's also fulfillment. I do find that 9 of hearts and 9s in general we tend to be codependent. We give and we don't understand that people want to take that from us. It's actually the card of the counselor. So you're like just a sweetheart and you just want to give love and help people with their emotions. And it's a very easy card to be taken advantage of. I did a couple readings for 9 of hearts and I find that they just go through like crappy relationship after crappy relationship. And it's just a mirror to show you value yourself first and then you attract someone that can value you. I like to say that 9s are good with 9s and 7s because then you're with a giver. I'm a 9. My husband's a 7. That doesn't have to go that way. You have another card. You're also a 5 of diamonds. There's things to go off there too.
I feel like I've always been a giver. My parents would always tell me that, like, don't please people first. Like, you got to make sure you're okay. And as I've gotten older, like, I try to make sure I'm okay before giving. But like, it's like I always want to make sure people around me are okay. So that resonates.
Yeah, definitely. And right now you're 23, CJ?
22. I'll turn 23 soon.
Got it. Okay. Oh,
So the
perfect. So we
one-
have your chart.
Yeah, the one thing I want to call out to what you just said, you're constantly making sure people around you are okay. You have gate 45. That is known as the tribal elder. So this is considered one of the most prestigious gates of the body graph. And what it means is you literally are designed to be the person who, no matter what your tribe is, whether it's work or friends or school or family, you are instinctually considering yourself the leader and the one responsible to make sure that the tribe is all doing what they need to do so that everybody wins. So does that kind of fit with what you're experiencing? CJ?
Honestly, yeah. So when I'm going to bring my mom up. She had a baby when I was 16. So my little sister, she's 7 now. And I think ever since she was born, I was 16, that kind of like I used to take care of her like all the time. I felt all the time like I would go to school, and then I started getting older. I started going to parties. I would always be like the I don't know, like I would call myself the dad of the group, not the mom, because I'm not controlling. Well, I don't know, but like I would always be the one that my friends trusted. And I want to take care of people. Even my mom, she's struggling right now, and I want to help her as much as I can. But yeah. I always feel kind of like a leader, and I like to do that.
Yes. And it doesn't necessarily show up as you doing something for them, although you are very capable of that because you have the defined ego will center, like I was talking about with me. You can do anything that you set your mind to, and you will complete it even to your physical detriment. And so with gate 45, you want to be very careful that you're not committing yourself to saving the world around you, because everybody's on their own journey, and it might not be on their journey for you to save them. But you as the tribal elder can provide them information of what works and what doesn't work, because you're a 3-5 profile, which that's what you're designed to do. Like the rest of us are so grateful for the 3-5s in the world, because you literally are here to test something out. If it doesn't work, then you make a little adjustment and you try it again. And you try it again and you try it again. So it's a continual, your entire life will be sampling to see what works and what doesn't work. So that then as the 5 line, your unconscious side will be the guide for everybody around you. And you have the tribal elder too. The other thing that I'm noticing right away in the chart is you have gate 30, that's my favorite story of a table is a table for people with gate 30. Somebody with gate 41 on the other side, like me, a table might be a table that you eat at or you do homework at, but it could also be a shelter. It could be a weapon. It could be a dance floor. It could be a ladder. It could be all those things. But gate 30 is the bottom of the sieve. So all this stuff comes in up here at this wide stance, and then it goes down, and gate 30 is the bottom of that. All these things are possible, but this is the one way to do it. So you want to be aware of that don't get stuck in that, because the defined ego will center is also going to want to get it right. That if you have what you think is the right way to do something to help guide as your 5 line, those around you in your tribe, it might not be the right way for them on their path.
And the 3-5 is a very misunderstood life. So thank you for your service. I seem to attract a lot of them. I enjoy them. I also just wanted to say, CJ, there's a lot I could say from your cards, but I do want you to know that starting at 23, so that's in September, that is next month, you are entering one of the most auspicious phases of your life. This is only going to happen maybe 2 or 3 times in your life, but next year you get to the top of a ladder you've been climbing for the last 7 to 15 years, and it's a 3-part cycle. So next year you end up getting like fame, recognition, whatever it is that you've been wanting. It could be a work milestone. You could finally get recognized for your work, whatever it is. And the following year at 24 is a year of taking all that and going inward to self-mastery. And it may not be an easy year, but you're riding on that success of the first year. And then the third year, you get rewarded for all of that. There's probably a lot of money too that comes in that year, like a windfall. In terms of, like I said, divine feminine, I'm like, girl, you got that. But there's going to be a cycle that's closing that starts at 23, and then it just goes up from there, and then it launches you after that. So things are going to be good. Don't worry. Anything you want to add, Sharon?
Yeah, it will be a bit of a bumpy ride for you to stand in the divine feminine role. And I've had the same thing. I have gate 45. I'm a manifesting generator. Like, so much of my design is very masculine. And that's been part of my journey. I'm going to be 60 in December. It's taken me a long time to get here. So great that you're looking at this early, CJ, because understanding that so much of your design is going to show up as masculine energy. And it's really going to take something to allow yourself to let go of feeling like you need to take care of all these things for everybody else so that you can really focus on letting the divine feminine out of you.
That's awesome. So I realize you guys are saying a generator and something else. What's the other one?
There's 5 of them. So there's manifester, generator, manifesting generator, projector, and reflector. And everybody has one. So we would have to look at everybody's to demonstrate.
Yeah.
But because you have that red square at the close to the bottom, that's your sacral or sacral. And you are born with a motor that Sharon could say more to this because Sharon is also one of these. I don't have one, but it's a defined motor that your body wants to use, not in taking out the trash, but in doing something that really lights you up. You're here to build, you're here to create and love what you do and love how you use your energy. And with that center, if you're doing something that your energy doesn't like or your body doesn't like, or you're doing it because your brain is or someone else is like, you should do it, you're going to experience frustration. And frustration is not something to get rid of or remove or escape. It's actually like the size on the bowling alley, the guards. It's like when you feel frustrated, your energy is not being used well. And it's an amazing sign you can be grateful for to stop what you're doing, or at least notice that and be like, oh, I'm using my energy incorrectly. Just that awareness.
Yeah, the sacral is basically the engine of your car. So as long as you are what we call a sacral yes for something, you will have enough energy along with your defined ego will center to get it done. Even if it means like staying up for 24 hours to get something done, you can do that if you're a yes for it. If you're not a yes for it, and yeses are very much a guttural thing where, you know, Christy's nodding her head right now. It might sound like, but if there's any hesitation, that means it's a no for right now. And you don't want to do those things. If you're a no, or you're I could probably do that. I could probably make my defined ego will center push through and get it done. So when you're not a yes for something and you try to do it anyway with this energy between these two centers, you will find that it's exhausting. It takes you way longer than it should. You probably just want to go curl up and take a nap. You might find yourself getting sick, get out of it. So those are all things that you want to look for, and only do the things that you are truly a sacral yes for.
And because you have that white triangle on the right means that you are a non-emotional like me. So you don't need time to think about things. Emotional waves can sound like a radio static. With emotional people, Dave is one of these, where it's like, if you ask him if he wants to come to something and he's in a good mood, he's going to say yes. But then the day of, his wave drops and he's like, man, I wish I didn't commit to that. Or the opposite, where he's going to be in a mood or something and we're like, hey, why don't we do this? And he's like, nah. And then the day comes and he's like, man, that would have been really fun. So for emotional people, they need to sleep on things. They need to wait for that static to go up and down so that they can clearly hear what their answer is. You don't have that. So when Sharon's saying your body's either going to say yes or no, it only responds one of those two things. It's a binary system, and you don't need time. So whenever there's something to respond to, we're like, hey, CJ, do you want to come to our Greek toga party? Like your body was like, yep. And because you don't have any of that interference. Whereas if someone's like, hey, can you come help me move? And you're like, no, that's the hard part, especially as a 9 of hearts, because all you want to do is serve and take care of people. But by doing that, you could get really sick. So just noticing that.
Check this out too, Christy.
Cross of
She's a lady
service.
Cross of service.
What does that mean?
It means you're literally here to serve others, and it contributes to that whole, your design is very masculine.
Oh, okay.
You, so it will really take something for you to let go of all of that. Only do it you're a cycle yes for. Those will go smoothly, and then that will allow you to let the divine feminine out.
And CJ, I think you do a beautiful job of that. I hope you don't mind me saying, but CJ is going to school for an AMP, an airplane
Yeah.
mechanic. So Sharon, it's so funny when you're like, oh, you're a masculine design. I'm like, yeah, like she's a freaking genius. She works in aerospace. One of, probably 0.5% of women that work in that industry. And yet, again, she shows up in the freaking toga and I'm like, you are stunning. So I think you're doing great. It could just be your head, that you have an open head. So you could have thoughts that like don't actually matter. Like you think that they matter, but they don't. I have this too. That could be what's going on there.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thanks,
welcome.
CJ. Such a pleasure.
And CJ, I would love to work with you more if you're interested, because you have a lot of stuff in your design that's very similar to me. I know all the things that I've gone through, and because I didn't know about human design until 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So I had to stumble through life dealing with all these things, not knowing why it was going that way. So,
Yeah, for sure. I would love to work with you too. I've been wanting to do anything type of figuring out my brain and my heart and stuff for a while now. And so I'm so happy that I met Christy. And so I wanted to jump on this. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys a lot.
Yeah. And Sharon does it like a single reading, but then she also teaches a course called Living Your Design. So I believe it's a 12-week or 12-session course. Well, if you want to nerd out on this stuff, she will go in depth with you. She'll talk about your gates, like all the different parts that make you who you are. If that's part of your journey right now, she does offer that. I'll get you guys acquainted.
yes. And I'm also starting a Living Your Design course at the end of August.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here with us. We appreciate you so much, all of your open, generous sharing and letting us have some fun and play with you. So thanks so much again. We hope you'll join us next time.
Thanks, everyone.